What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be sharing 3 stories about my head. My physical head. I was dropped as a baby. So these stories happened when I was very young. The first story I'm going to share was when I was 3 years old. I had this friend named Kevin, right? And I would play with him almost every single day. Like, this was back then, kids, before we had technology, or like we had Minecraft. So you know what we did? We played outside. Back in my day. Yeah, I can play that card now, okay? I'm getting older, all right? Back then, we used to play outside, and there was this specific playground that my friend Kevin and I would play in. We were neighbors at the time. Every single day, I would like knock on his door and be like, "Kevin, do you want to play with me?" I felt so bad because like I'm betting there were some days he just did not want to play with me, but I just made him. Well, his parents made him. I made his parents make him. So we would walk to this playground every day, and we would play on the slides and monkey bars, whatever kids do nowadays on playgrounds. You know, like I haven't been to one in many years, as I should. There was this one day when we were going to the playground, but this was peculiar because this was after supper, right? It was actually getting late. The sun was about to set, and we decided to be smart kids for some reason whatsoever and head to the playground right as it's about to get dark. And when we get to the playground, there's this gate that we have to walk into to reach the playground, right? And normally it would always be unlocked. But this time, for some reason, on this particular day, the gate was just locked. It was chained like with one of those bike locks. That's the visual I'm trying to conjure up for you viewers. You couldn't open the gate, but there was a gap between the 2 gates at the entrance where if anyone was small enough, they could stick their head through the gate and they could get in, and they're on the other side of the playground. My friend Kevin, his head being incredibly small, I watched as he just like slid through the gate, and he did it so effortlessly. He stuck his head into the gap, and I watched him make it out on the other side. And I'm like, he did that. And Kevin, by the way, was older than me, so I looked up to him. So it was more like monkey see, monkey do. I decided to follow his lead. Now this is where things ended terribly. I stuck my head into the gap between the 2 gates, but I didn't realize my head was too big for the gate. So what happened was my head got stuck in the gate. And by the way, for some reason, our parents just decided to let us go to the playground on our own. So we didn't have any parents to help us. Since Kevin couldn't get back to tell his mom about what happened because my head was stuck in the gate that he had to go through again, and he couldn't go through it anymore because I was filling the gap this time with my head, we had no parents to come help us. Eventually, as the sun started to set, my parents started getting worried, and Kevin's parents also started getting worried, so they came looking for us. And so they found me and my head stuck at the playground in the gap between the 2 gates. You know, I may have a big head, but my mom always says that the bigger head you have, the smarter you are. I don't know if that was just her telling me something to cope with this, but yeah. My second story is relatively short. I was dropped as a baby, as I said earlier, and this actually happened when I was really young. I think I was just a toddler. My dad took me to Costco, right? And you know how they have those baby seats on those shopping carts? So my dad put me on one, but then he didn't strap a seatbelt onto me. So I fell off the shopping cart onto the Costco concrete hard floor. I don't know if any of you have ever been to a Costco. I don't know if there's any Costco's outside of America, but Costco's are these warehouse retail stores that have super hard concrete floors. Maybe that explains a lot of the decisions I've made nowadays. My third and last story happened when I was 9. I was on a Boy Scout retreat at my friend's lake house, and we were walking through the forest. I think we were trying to get to a scenic destination, and along the way, on the nature path, I found a really big rock. And this was back then, again, before like the internet really took off, Minecraft whatsoever, TikTok, Twitter, whatever. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. But the measure of your coolness was by how far you can chuck a rock and how big of a splash it made in the water. And this was the competition for us Boy Scouters. I don't know if that's the right term. So I found this really big rock, and I'm like, jackpot, baby. And I took the rock, and it was incredibly big, by the way. It's like the size of a book. I took the rock, and I saw a lake nearby. So I decided I'm going to chuck it into the lake. I took the rock, and then I yeeted it as high as possible. What I learned was 3rd graders aren't that great at predicting trajectory, because little did I know, when I chucked the rock upwards, I chucked it directly upwards. When I chucked the rock upwards and I was waiting for it to hit the water, I was so confused because I was like, where's the splash sound? I look up, the rock just comes tumbling down towards my head, and yeah, I got a big concussion from that. So those are the 3 stories featuring my head.